Gentleman from Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is an honor for me to rise today in support of House Resolution 754, which honors the citizen soldiers of the Pennsylvania National Guard, including the 56th Stryker Brigade Combat Team of the Pennsylvania Army National Guard, on its return to the United States from a deployment in Iraq. I'm proud to have authored this resolution with my colleague, Mr. Holden, from Pennsylvania, and it is an honor, as I said, to speak in favor of this resolution and to have the support and co-sponsorship of the entire Pennsylvania delegation. The men and women being honored today are not only brave soldiers, they are also our neighbors, friends, and relatives. Their mission in Iraq was vital to our national security, and they served with honor and distinction. In November of last year, I was joined by my colleagues, Mr. Holden, Mr. Gerlach, Mr. Dent, to visit the members of the 56th Stryker Brigade when they were training at Camp Shelby in Mississippi and at Fort Polk in Louisiana in preparation for their deployment. In June of this year, Mr. Holden and I, along with Mr. Dent and Ms. Delcamper, visited Iraq to meet with our deployed troops from Pennsylvania to thank them for their service. We also met with troops from Camp Liberty outside of Baghdad, and while there, we also were able to meet with General Odierno, the commander of the MF multinational force in Iraq. And General Odierno spoke in glowing terms of the Pennsylvania Guard and told us that our soldiers are doing an outstanding job bringing security to Iraq. I also had the opportunity to meet with many of my constituents, and there were dozens and dozens, and they truly are citizen soldiers. I just want to highlight three of them. Lieutenant Colonel Sam Hayes, who's a native of Tyrone, Pennsylvania. His father also happened to be the former Pennsylvania Agricultural Secretary. Sergeant Buchanan, a resident of Altoona, Pennsylvania, and is employed by McAleer's Plumbing and Heating. He's my plumber, and spent time in my basement trying to fix leaky plumbing, so it's good to have Sergeant Buchanan home. And finally, Sergeant Gibbons, another neighbor, a friend. His son plays on the Holliesburg High School soccer team with my son, and in fact, I'll be on the sidelines tonight talking to Sergeant Gibbons. And also wanted to thank and to remember Chad Edmondson, one of my constituents who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Our thoughts and our prayers continue to go out to their family, and again, to thank him for his service and his sacrifice to this nation. The text of this resolution speaks for itself. It is my pleasure to express our gratitude and commend our soldiers on the most recent deployment and recognize their achievements. And I hope to be participating on November the 8th in a major parade in Tyrone, Pennsylvania, welcoming home our soldiers. I would also like to thank my staff for their work on this resolution, in particular my Army fellow, Lieutenant Colonel Eric Estep, for his great work and in late hours in putting this together. And I urge all members of the House to support this important resolution. And with that, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back the balance of his time. The gentleman from Washington.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back. All time has been yielded back. The question is, will the House suspend the rules and agree to House Resolution 754? Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the Chair, 2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended. The resolution is agreed to. And without objection.